Hello everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, I had to delay it because I had like a college app like essay webinar and I forgot there was a conflict with that and I sorry for the late like delay or like reschedule. That's my fault.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and start right now. So what we're just going to be doing today is we're going to be doing more exercises with cutting cards because I looked over a lot of people's like cards, and there's some things that like I think need to be like changed, like just on the formatting. So hold 1 second.
Wait, did you put comments on our things, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I'll put comments on them. Yeah, I'll put it after class is over. But so 12 people turned in their cards. So like there's a couple of cards where like there's a lot of highlighting. Like the sites are fine, but like it's not something you'd like read in a debate. Um oh, and then there's one that's pretty good actually. Uh yeah, so I'll just show like examples right now. Yeah, I don't know if everyone's in now. Okay.
Can you tell us if ours was good?
Yeah, I'll give everyone's like whoever submitted it like live feedback. That's what I'll do right now. But just let me know if you submitted it and you don't want me to like show it. Just like I guess like give me a private chat and then I'll know I'll see it. So I'm just gonna assume that everyone's okay with like me like kind of presenting their cards basically. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me go to the first one. Okay. All right, can everyone see this? Okay, so this is a pretty good card. This is a good example of a card. Like we have a affirmative card here and then we have a negative card here. So like just from I guess like good like little bit too much highlighting here, but like generally for the like a lot of this can be unhighlighted it and then some things can be highlighted. The site is good here. The kind of like tagline up here is good. And just affirmative. So usually you want to have a contention name. Okay, I don't want to edit it. I want to suggest. Okay. So you should write a contention name usually. So it's like, so example should be like contention one cancer. Like that's what your contention should be. Instead of saying affirmative, right? Because usually this will be on the affirmative case anyway. But overall, this is a pretty good card. Like you just want to highlight a little less. Like I get it was a pretty big article, but kind of like create cards that have a lot of flow because that's what you want to do in like a real debate. You can't just like start reading all of like everything. So, we can just read through the cards. So,
Wait, the person that you're checking right now isn't in the class currently.
oh, okay. I think we went over this one. I remember last class because he turned it in July. Okay, she turned it in today. I guess sometime today. Oops. Okay. I mean, it's a good card, so like I guess it's a good example. And like
Wait, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
How would you make a contention name?
So a contention name is just basically off all the cards you cut. So for example, here, right? So if this is one card, it talks about cancer, right? GMO products lead to cancer. Then you just want to have your like contention one as cancer. That's basically what you want to have it as. And then if you have your large contention with multiple cards, usually you should have somewhere from like 3 to 5 cards. So that's like different sub points. So like usually it'll be more generalized. Like if you say cancer in one of your cards, you can just put like disease. Like you can do that if you'd like. But it's just depending on like what it's about. Since I only have one card here, like instead of saying affirmative, right? You can just put contention one is cancer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your contention should generally be like an outline for your judge, like, and moreover for your opponent, so they know what you're talking about. Because, like, if if you have a big like top of your case that says contention 1 is, contention 2 is, right? Then first your judge knows what you're talking about, and then secondly your opponent also has like a general idea, right? And then when you go into each and every one of the cards, right, you can like they kind of have an idea, the judge has an idea what each one of your cards is talking about, and they can really differentiate the cards. Because what sometimes happens is if you don't like explicitly state your contention name, like then like the judge is sometimes confused when you suddenly go into your cards. You're like, subpoint A is labeling products is key, GMO products lead to cancer, right? And if you say that, your judge is going to be like, oh, what? Okay. If there's so many about the same thing, they can't like differentiate the author, because there might be like Schubert, and then like on a similar card, there might be the editors or something like that, right? So they need to differentiate all your points, because for example, if your opponent doesn't respond to one of the points and you call them out on that in your rebuttal speech or somewhere in one of your speeches, right? Then the judge isn't 100% sure if your opponent responded to that card, because in debate you always want to respond to every one of your opponent's cards. So if they have 3 cards on GMO products lead to cancer, right, you need to respond to every single one of that, like every single one of those cards and every single point that they have within those cards. And when you have a contention name and you just have these clarifications, right, like up here, like just like some taglines here, it's important so your judge has an idea of what's going on in the round. That's why it's important. The only comment I have here is just
So I came a little late, sorry.
yeah.
So what did we go through so far?
We're just reviewing like the homework. I'm just giving good examples and some feedback on everyone's homework, like whoever submitted it.
Homework as in like the one that was there like before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you don't want me to like show your card, you can just say, like, yeah, I just don't like show my card. Just like direct message me, like the private message in Zoom. That's fine. The only like I guess can I make yeah. Okay, so that's the only like criticism I have about this. Everything else, like regarding the color of the highlighting, the shrinkage of the like I guess the text, everything is fine here. So this is some like generally how your card should look. Like the citation is pretty good. That's just like a general outline. Okay, I'll go to the next one. Okay. Nope. Okay, there's nothing here. Okay. I forgot. Oh, okay. Yeah, Nitya, if you want to submit it now, that's fine. Okay, who's okay. I don't, is Ritiana here? Ritiana? Okay, if not, okay, this is still a pretty decent card. Like this is kind of how you want to have a card. So yeah, this is pretty good. I've read through this already, and this is a card where it is a smaller card, and you probably want to have more of the article like shrunk just in case. But beyond that, like the only thing I'd improve here is just give it a contention name here. Contention name. Beyond that, like this is basically how you want to have a card. So you want to have like, I guess you don't really need the title. Okay. Yeah, Mihika, do you have a question?
Yeah, what do you mean by contention name?
So a contention, okay, let me stop sharing. I'll show you like one of, I think a lot of people here might have missed a class or two like at the beginning. Let me just, oh. Okay, here. Okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, can everyone see this? Oops.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a contention, right, is just generally, so a contention is a collection of cards. So I have my one card here. This is, and like all of this is one card. Right? And then I have my second card here. And then third card here. And then fourth here. So you should have 3 to 5, somewhere from 3 to 5. Like it's also depending on the length of like how much you highlight.
3 to 5 cards for each contention.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Share
yeah.
this, like, what you're sharing right now. Is there a way you could share it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I can put this on the Google Classroom, right? I think so. Yeah, I'll
Share?
do it, but
I think there's a share button.
I think I can just drop the file in the classroom if I make an announcement.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the file called again? So, okay, Muthuswamy Aflay. Okay.
If someone asks if you can drop it in the chat also.
I'm not sure how I would have how
You
I
just drag the file
okay, I can just do that. Okay.
into the chat.
Samples.
What's the archbishop?
That's where I go to school. So you have to say
Oh.
your school, yeah, and then just like your name. That's like a formality thing. You don't necessarily need to have that. Everyone at my school does have that though.
Okay, I don't understand what that meant. I thought I was
Yeah,
missing.
no problem. Okay, I posted my document. I believe I don't think it'll come with the formatting. I'm not sure. Okay, it does. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so here, right? What you can take a look at is like just generally trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain this. So you should have 1 to 2 contentions. Like if it's a one large contention, it makes sense. But if you have like, you shouldn't have 5 contentions. You should just have some solid good points. But you shouldn't also like overbear or like kind of like have a lot of points your opponent needs to respond to, because like then your opponent can call abuse on your case, which just basically means like they're throwing all these different points out that I can't respond to, therefore basically putting me in a trap, right? Like that would be abusive in debate. Okay. So you just want to have like a good case where you have 2 like strong points. So like supply chain is 1 point, and then you have climate change is 1 point. So every one of these cards, right? So this is a good tagline. Every one of these cards basically supports that, like, okay, so they are like the People's Republic of China ought to prioritize environmental protection over economic growth, right?
Cards should you have in one contention, and how many contentions should you have?
So you should have 3 to 5 cards in your contentions. You can have more than 5 cards, but they have to be a little smaller sometimes. Like they just have to, they can't have all of this highlighted. Like this is a good card, like that type of example where although it's a large card, you don't highlight a lot. So you can have like probably 5 to 6 of these type of cards. Like you just need, like technically you can have as many cards as you want, but you want to have them from like distinct sources, and they kind of have to convey distinct points along the same lines. So like this card basically talks about like China is a large contributor of like greenhouse gases, and China needs to decrease emissions in order to like push any tipping point of climate change into the future. And then this one like generally talks about how China's greenhouse gas emissions exceeded that of the US and the developed world combined. And this kind of brings in statistics. And then this card basically talks about how they're aiming for emissions to reach their highest point before 2030 and carbon neutrality before 2060. And basically like they need to stop using coal, for generating electricity by 2050. And they basically need to prioritize environmental protection in order to like, I guess, grow as a country and like benefit the entire world. So that's basically the point here. But you can have as many cards as you want, but generally you should just try to stick to distinct points from distinct sources. That's like the main guideline there. Here, like, contention 2 is China supply chain. So there's 1, 2, 3 cards here. These are a little smaller. So I think there's 4 actually, just didn't load. Yep. Yeah, so these are just blocks I like copy pasted there, but yeah, there's 3 here or 4 here actually. Okay, I was wrong. There's 5 there. It just doesn't load sometimes because I'm on the, oh yeah, okay, now it'll load. Okay, here. So there's one card here, one card here, one card here. So in your sub points, you can kind of have like two cards combined in the sub point. So sub point A, sub point B, but then you can combine like different cards into a singular sub point as long as they convey at one point. But what you just need to like outline here is just, have good points and kind of have,
Excuse me.
yeah, go ahead.
I missed like almost 20 minutes because I was outside. I just came back.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
We already
So-
we went over her card just
Yeah,
now.
we did. Yeah, I gave some feedback on the card you submitted. It was pretty good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I think that's what I got an email for. So
Yeah, you might have, yeah.
yeah, I'll check it out. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, yeah. But so like what you just want to have is always some analysis and some evidence. So evidence here, so human caused global warming has made severe droughts like this one, in China at least 20 times as likely to occur as they would have been more than, a century ago, right? And then here you can have your analysis. Where is it? Okay, here. This has consequences. We outlined two impacts. Difficulties to China supply chains devastate global industries due to global dependence on Chinese factories. So the argument here made was that due to the drought, right, there's less electricity or hydropower, right? That in turn causes, difficulties to China's supply chains, which then causes, devastation to global industries. So that's the that's called a link chain where you make one argument and then you kind of like link it to different arguments and kind of elaborate on that argument. So that's what you really want to do when making a case. So it's like pretty elaborate and in-depth. So you have some understanding of the entire topic. Your judge has some understanding, but it also should be somewhat difficult for your opponent to like argue against this when it's happening in the status quo. Like that's what you want to have. You want to have a really in-depth case when you're making like anything. So evidence, reasoning, analysis, like that along those lines. So that's what your contention is. Does that make sense? And you can always also like kind of pre-write a rebuttal speech here. So like before every round, I usually like put a bunch of stuff on my opponent's case here from the blocks. You like usually just copy paste it. Like if my opponent ran, the economy, right? Turning an argument basically means you can turn it to our side or basically like refute the argument completely. And you should always like, if you have a separate block file, which is just a bunch of like, I guess, cards that contradict your opponent, you should just copy paste them into your case so you can like have quick access to them because you only have like 4 minutes of prep time during a round. Does that make sense? Like those things you'll learn just by being in like an actual debate. Like if you're at school, if you're like, doing practice rounds, those are things you'll pick up like automatically. They're not something you really have to like know. It just becomes easier for people to like copy paste. So, okay, let's see if I can open up a block file here. Okay, so this is, so it's a compiled negative blocks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we can't see that.
Oh, okay. I need to share that then. Okay, here. So if you have your neg case open, right? So neg blocks are for the neg. So they're for the negative. So if you're on the negative, then you can say like economic growth allowed for China to dominate in green technology. Green technology helps the environment, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have a neg case open, right? And your opponent suddenly says, oh, yeah, so China's green tech is like, they're extremely good at green technology. They should prioritize green technology, right? Then you can say that economic growth has been driving green technology. And if you suddenly, prioritize environmental protection, you're not going to have your green technology that you talk about. So that's a turn, that's a case turn. So you just turn their case and you basically have like a general refutation for their case. If you're on the neg and they suddenly read this, all you have to do, copy paste it into yours. And it's very easy because what you can do is, right, on your paper, you first read off everything your opponent responded to, and then you can read off like what you still need to respond to on your opponent. So it's very easy. Like you just go from top to bottom. Does that make sense? I don't think I had my camera turned on. Okay. So you just have to go like, usually in a rebuttal speech, you respond to your opponent, then you respond to their case. So when you copy paste a block into your case, like that you're using, it's very easy for you to just like read off that and kind of like look back at your cards to refute their points. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you
Yes.
add like the little sections in verbatim, like the neg blocks, case turns, like all
Yeah, you just have to copy paste it and then like you just have to give it a bookmark basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
then
just got it like yesterday. It doesn't make much sense. There's like lots of random buttons.
yeah, there's a lot of random buttons, like especially the add-ins, they don't make a lot of sense. Just try them out and then like I'll put a
For
Huh?
me, it doesn't show the add-ins. It
Hmm,
has a whole separate thing called debate.
so it's
That-
there's no add-ins for you?
No, so if you have like home, insert, draw, design, like in that place, it has another thing called debate.
Are you on Windows or like a Mac or?
Mac.
Okay, I'm not too sure about that, but
I mean, it still works, but yeah,
okay. So is it better than Google Docs or like worse than Google Docs? Because you know, both are fine in my opinion.
way better.
Way better. Okay. That's good news. So for those who haven't downloaded it, the issue was that you're like usually if you were on Mac, right, you had to go to your security and allow all downloads. Because when you downloaded, you know, verbatim6.pkg, which is for Mac, this one's for Mac.
I basically glitched the system because my school account, they give Microsoft 365 for free.
Huh.
Sign into that. And then
Uh-huh.
once I had verbatim, so I got regular Word. And then I signed into my school account. So then it actually unlocks stuff. And then since
Oh,
verbatim
okay.
automatically gives 365 to you, I just signed out and then signed into my home account. And it worked. Kept
Oh,
it.
okay.
That's
Alright.
what I did as well.
Okay, I mean that's good news. So if you have a school, it's in your school email, right? Where you have the access.
Huh?
It's like in your school, you have to use your school email in order to get like access
Yeah.
to Microsoft 365, right? 365.
Yeah, but I have my home account. I glitched it.
Oh, okay. So okay. I'm not too
Yeah,
sure on
he
how to
put
do
in
it.
his school account and then he logged out and went into his home account, but in his home account, it continued to work.
Okay. I guess that's good. Yeah. Usually like I mean if your school account, just use your school account, that's
It's a
fine.
bug. It's
Huh?
a bug. It happened to me too. But like, you're on the same device. You're
Yeah.
using the same
No,
memory.
I don't
so
think
it,
it's a
like,
bug
that
though, because
sometimes.
I don't
Maybe
think
it
it's
just
a
works.
bug,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
verbatim, because verbatim gives it to you. It just has to unlock.
No,
It
well,
works
like,
because
on
you're
the
like adding an extension for your Chrome. So like for your whole laptop, you're
yeah,
adding
for
an
your whole
extension, but
for
you're
your
just
whole
adding it
cloud.
on a different email.
Yeah, for your whole cloud, it's happening, not just for not just for one account. It's just for the whole cloud, Google Cloud, that is.
Okay.
Because
Well,
like
I
it's a
think
secure memory.
I'm gonna continue giving feedback on cards. So there's only a couple people that like don't want me to share there, so I'm just gonna continue. Let me just share my screen.
Did you write any feedback for mine? Because you said you reviewed mine.
Who's speaking? I can't tell.
Me.
Harshika or
Yeah.
yeah, I already wrote feedback on your Google document. It should like be a suggestion, and
You have
that's
to
I don't see anything.
It's not a comment. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not a private comment. You have to go into your actual doc.
yeah, you have to go.
Yeah, I
into,
did.
Oh,
Oh.
wait, what?
I don't see anything there.
Like
Okay.
comments on.
Oh, did you click post? Did you forget to click post?
No, I posted them. I'm pretty sure. One
Oh.
second.
Wait, did you try like unsubmitting the assignment?
Oh yeah, no, I posted them here. Yeah. 1 second.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, I'll just. Okay, yeah. So I just said like write contention names. You know, example one, contention one, cancer. Do less highlight the stuff that it's like a suggestion in the Google Doc.
Yeah. Oh, what? I don't have.
I
It doesn't have anything like that.
okay. That's yeah. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, but I can. Yeah, you can do it that way because then I can see it from there.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna
Okay.
continue.
I don't see anything that you like either like you wrote on it. I think you wrote on it, right? Like you wrote on my document if you did. I can't see
Hold up.
anything.
I need
there.
to look at the list of who did not want me to share. Hika, is it fine if we look at yours?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so this is pretty good. Yeah, so
Is there homework this week?
yeah, I'll assign homework this week. It's just gonna be cutting cards. So like from here on out, we're just gonna be doing more and more practice. It's just gonna be like more like actually like doing like debate focused events. So I'm like over like the next 2 weeks, I'm just gonna assign cards on one topic. I'll post a topic, and then you guys have to make affirmative and negative case, and then we'll have like an in-class debate round. Does that make sense?
So do we have to put like multiple sources for or multiple blocks for one contention and then like two contentions?
So blocks are basically refutations. They're like cards, but refutations for your opponent's case. Does that make sense?
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Cards are like a bunch of cards make a contention, and that's on you. Like that's your argument. That's what you're saying. But a block is basically, for example, if your opponent reads a card, they're like, I guess they're saying that, you know, I
Yeah,
guess
on the-
it's like issues with genetically modified foods, right? And then you should bring up a block that said, no, there's no issues with this, this, and this. This is like false evidence or whatever you want to argue. That's basically what's kind of what a block is. It's a card, but for as a like a refutation to your opponent, like a pre-written refutation.
So yeah, do we have to do like two contentions and like three cards for each contention?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I'm just gonna have you like practice flowing. And I recommend everyone to go like, is there anyone in the classroom that's not on the Google Classroom, like, or like in the meeting that's not in the Google Classroom? I can post a link. Because last class a couple here.
Also, can you teach us flow on Excel or something like that, so it's easier for us
The
to,
flow on Excel.
yeah, so it's easier for us to like.
I usually say it's like, I say it's easier to flow on paper because for one, you're being more attentive to the argument, and a lot of people can't type faster than they can write. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
said that
like
because it
flowing
might
on
be
Excel
easier.
is just like, oops.
I just said that because it might be easier to like.
Yeah,
teach.
I can explain that next class, but let me, I can just pull it, but you can flow on sheets too. You don't need Excel necessarily.
Okay, sheets or Excel, just let's like a spreadsheet.
Yeah, so you just have to like, let me just make a new one. So you have to put like one AC here.
Oh, your screen's kind of cut off.
Huh? Oh my, what happened?
Like so
The side's sort of
I
cut
can
off.
see it.
yeah.
Oh,
You
Like,
can't
you
see
see-
the 1, 2, 3.
Just kind of,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
zoom
better.
out. Yeah, there.
okay, so then you can put like CX1 here. You can put one NC, you know, and then you basically flow here. So you flow your case. You can put like C1, I guess cancer, like GMOs cause cancer. Right, and then you list all your points like for that. So 1 second. Okay, I guess it just goes to I have no experience with this, to be honest. Like I just flow on paper. Like I don't think I have flow near me, but if you just flow on paper, it makes like for me it makes more sense because you just have columns. You just like write one AC NC, and in most scenarios it's easier to flow on paper because when you're like, they'll make you stand and they'll make you move to like the middle of the classroom because usually you're debating in a high school, so they'll make you move to the middle of a classroom and they'll make you stand up, and it's easier for you to hold a paper that has like all of your opponent's content on it, plus like I guess the things than like pulling up your entire like laptop and reading
You're
off of
saying
it.
that.
So if that makes sense, like most people flow on paper. I'd say like I'd argue that 95% of the debaters you'll see in like the regular debate rounds, like your league tournaments, your local league tournaments, they'll all be on like flowing on paper. Like I'd argue there's a disadvantage to being on like Excel or Google Sheets. But when you go to the higher levels of debate, such as like circuit debate, where there's like a bunch of arguments, they'll have like maybe 20 arguments, and you have to like get every one of the arguments down. Your opponent will share their case with you beforehand, like sometimes the night before or sometimes during the round, and you just have to like copy paste everything into an Excel. And that's usually where I see the benefit of Excel and Google Sheets when there's like a lot of information. But other than that, this is just an intro to debate class, speech and debate class. So I mainly want to stick to flowing on paper. For those who don't know what flowing is or don't know how to flow on paper, I put a I believe, yeah, there is a example of flowing on Google Classroom. It's part of my slides. And also I posted a link to a video that's like really good and really informative if you want to like quickly like visually learn how to flow. Because my issue was like I couldn't visually show you guys because I don't have like a drop down camera or like anywhere on my desk. So I put a video there. So just watch the video and like review all the materials and then I'll post the homework and then I'll give you guys 1 week to finish the assignment. But it will be a larger assignment if that makes sense. Sound good to everyone? All right, yeah. So moving on, I'm just gonna go over each and every one of the cards as long as people like are okay with me.
Are you going through everybody's?
Unless you said you didn't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 second. Okay. All right, here. So number first. So we went over here. Okay, so this is Yashmit's, I guess. Yeah, so the
I
highlighting
turned
here.
in two things. I turned in the
Oh, is there
the
another
Iran
one?
nuclear, and I turned in the China thing.
Oh, it said 2 attachments. How do I look at the second?
You can, if you click
It
his,
says it right there
it's right
on
there.
the side. It says it on the
Oh,
side.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is pretty good. So the only thing I would argue that you need here is a better site. And just like your font may be a little big, it's like 19. You probably just want to shrink this down to 12. 12 or 11 is always fine. And then shrinking this is 7 or 8 usually. Yeah, this is 11. So shrink this to size 7 or 8. And then you just want to make all the text black also. I think it's like a gray color. Just make the text black.
It is
Underline and bold the stuff you're going to read. So underline and bold. Sorry, Vish, I think your mic is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So just underline and bold the things you are going to read during a round. So this is like just read whatever, like underline and bold it. The resolution, just place the resolution up here, somewhere up here. You should have AF and then also like maybe a contention name. I think you finished this on, yeah, you finished this July 8th. So before like the last class. So we went over a lot of things. So this is basically everything I explained last class. So content, okay. Move this up, add contention name and so that's just basically it. So have, also add your site. You gotta add. You can find a site generator. I'm not sure. Wait, Yashmin, do you have the site generator like for paperless debate?
What do you mean the site generator?
Um,
Like it tells you what like letter it is.
yeah, like how good the site is and basically like that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I have it.
Just do that. That's about it. Like regarding the highlighting of it, this is pretty decent highlighting. Like for this is a kind of the ratio you want to have. And also like paste the whole article and shrink.
The article's really big.
Yeah, that's fine. Just like I guess paste like a larger general area of it. Like you don't want like a
Yeah,
book
I usually,
on-
for my things, I posted the general area of what's important.
Okay, so like basically here, right? Like you have all the stuff like you just want a little bit after and a little bit in front and anything in between the stuff you don't highlight, you just want to shrink that. So like it just makes it look more professional when you have more than just what you're reading, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like I say paste the whole article, like I'm just gonna say paste the whole article. Usually the articles aren't that big, so just paste the whole article and then shrink the parts you don't read, because usually that's just reference for your opponent and your judge if they ever ask for your case. Because sometimes in rounds I'll be like, that sounds a little fishy. I don't think like this source would have ever said that, like CNN, right? They wouldn't like be extremely like far right. Like, and when I look at it, right, they highlighted a part that talked about something else, like a singular word, and they kind of connected it to make it seem that like, the source or whatever is arguing for this or arguing for that. So that's usually the only reason why you need to shrink things. So like your opponent, if they ever question you and you send them your card, because before cross examinations and before prep time, they can ask for a card. Like if you read a card, they're like, oh, can I have your this author card, whatever, right? And you usually have to give it to them, or else like it kind of looks fishy on your part. But beyond this, like this is completely fine in my opinion. Just cite here, different sizing on the format, just like have the standard format basically, and that's about it. Like beyond that, the card is fine. Okay. Yeah. I'll just go to the is Ayanashi here? Ayanashi. Okay, I don't think they're here, but oh yeah, but this is a good card. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So
They're here. They're here.
oh, they're here. Is it okay if I share your card or like use your as an example?
Yes.
Okay. So this is pretty good. Like you have a good site here. Affirmative card. So just add a tag line for a small summary of the card. So usually the tagline is just like an intro to the card. It's kind of like, for example, like on the China topic on the affirmative case I showed, it kind of talked about how China is a main player in global, global climate change. And my tagline was basically, we aren't yet at, the tipping point of climate change. China is a key player. So that's all you need. So just add a tagline, your small summary of your card.
Oh, could you post a homework right after this class so we have like time to work on it?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that's my fault. So here, like, good shrinkage, just make, I guess I usually say, because if you're gonna print out your case, which most people do, like that's what I do, you want the highlight color to be darker, underline, bold things you want to read during a round. Oops. And then usually, like if you let's say for example, if you have extra time, you want to read this, right? All you have to do is unhighlight it. So just keep it the same size, don't bold it, but just make sure you don't like if you here, right? For example, like I'm just using your card as an example. For example, let's say you don't want to read this part during your card, right? And only maybe if you go too fast during this part, you want to read it, just like take away the highlighting, but keep it the same size, if that makes sense. Beyond that, like everything, yeah, this is pretty decent. I'd say the same stuff for this is probably the best card I've seen, so this is pretty good. Site is completely, perfect. I'd say it's perfect. That's just, I'm pretty sure it's a generated site. Everything else is pretty fine. Like highlighting is pretty good, like in terms of like you're not highlighting everything, but you're not highlighting too little. I haven't read through the entire card yet, so I can't necessarily say like what you should continue to highlight or like what you should keep and what you should get rid of. Okay. Tejasvi, is it fine if we go over your card? Tejasvi?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I think we went over this last class, so okay, so yeah.
I also put the negative card too.
Okay. Yeah, so I think for like basically all of the cards, it just becomes a formatting issue. So formatting is pretty important because when you send a card to a judge or you send a card to anyone, it's easier to like kind of, I guess, read off the card. And over time, you kind of get used to the formatting that everyone else has, which is like just the general formatting of debate. So you make this Calibri, you make it, size 11 or 12, whatever you want. Just like the biggest problem is in debate is when you're cutting a card, right? A lot of like new debaters will just highlight like a whole part of this. So you don't want to highlight all of that. So you can say like China is a developing state. Without economic development, like you don't need to highlight this part. You know what that's how you generate like flow in your debate. Like what you're reading has to sound really good towards your judge and towards your own opponent. Like that kind of exudes a sense of like professionalism and moreover like a sense of what you're doing. So like instead of saying therefore the task of development is the foreground, like this doesn't add a lot of value. What you want, the values here. China is a developing state. Without economic development, there are no material opportunities for implementation of environmental policy or its creative transformation. Like this is kind of a good tagline. This could be a good tagline. Like this is kind of how you want your tagline to be. So yeah, you don't really need to highlight this. You can say only under the conditions of accelerated stable economic development can one acquire the ability to protect and effectively improve, or what is it, improve effectively the environmental conditions of both China, in China and around the world. So that's, you want to get to the content. Like here it doesn't really add to your argument. Like it's just a waste of your time here because you're saying as with other developing countries, rapid economic development is a matter of particular concern and the most urgent need for the PRC. Like, and also I'm not sure what the PRC is. There's something you might have to put in your definitions, etc. So you want to have a lot of like, yeah, you don't need this. Like if you say that, their understanding of sustainable development, you don't need it, right? What you want to say is like, yeah, sure. This is a good point right here, right? Historical experience show that sustainable development cannot be achieved if people live in backwardness and poverty, right? So you're just arguing that, okay, without economic development, people can't, live in the future and live or like in context of prioritizing environmental protection. They can't do this. They must firmly consider the development of the national economy with the, aim of eradicating poverty or like economic development, the population, resource, environment. Like those are the points. Like you don't want to kind of have things that directly say what you're supporting. So you're supporting, China growing their economy. You're supporting, economic development that supports improve the improvement of environmental conditions. You kind of just want to take pieces of every article and only take the important parts and the stuff that you read and kind of presents right in front of you what's important. So what's important is economic development. What's important is environmental, protection. What's important is sustainable development. Like that's what you want to argue. You don't want to like blatantly or like randomly in the middle of your card say the Chinese understanding of the idea is sustainable development can be illustrated by this report in 1997. Like I understand you guys are beginners, but that I'm just trying to give constructive criticism. Like here, like just have the stuff that's important that directly conveys your point. Like this, just sourcing this article, this is a really good article. Like yeah, NCBI, so this NCCBI, it's always a good article, like, or a good source. And overall this article has a lot of good information. So like from the research perspective, this is a really good article. That's what I can give feedback on. But for you guys, it's just formatting right now. Ishan, is it fine if I share and give feedback on your card right now?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Iran one.
Okay, that's the old one. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh damn, this is damn. Okay, yeah. This is pretty good. Like I'm actually pretty impressed by this. Yeah, so you want to underline or just like leave it unbolded, and then you want to highlight and underline what you want to read, right?
Like 1 or 2 classes ago, you said that things that you could possibly say you would bold and underline but not highlight, so I just did that.
Yeah, so so usually the stuff that you will read or like stuff that's really important, like that is, like for example, like sometimes, right, if I'm reading an article, I'll have a like I'll kind of have a word that I kind of forget how to say or like kind of like skip over sometimes. Like this is the only, most serious challenge. Like sometimes I'll have that. So that's when you want to bold, but other than that, just underline and highlight, and the stuff you can read as an option, just just leave it underlined and don't highlight it if it makes sense. But beyond the site is really good here. Just add a tagline here. Beyond that, I think this is pretty good. There's not much I have to say on this. Like the shrinking is, Calibri 11. Like usually you want to make it smaller, like Calibri 8, and you want to make this like Calibri 11. But for you guys, it's just formatting issues. I'll I could possibly make a document that's kind of gives you a rundown on the formatting, but beyond this is a good card. I'd say it's a pretty good card. Okay. Was Shivani? Is Shivani here? Is it okay if I share your?
Yeah, I'm here. Can we not like
Okay,
share
yeah.
it?
I mean, it looks fine from my thing. Is it fine if I take a look at it and if it's good, I can share it and I can give you feedback? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
sure.
Okay, I'll stop share real quick. I'll just take a look at it and then. Yeah, I could, yeah, this is a good card, actually. This is a good card. Is it fine if I share it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the only thing I'd say here is just like formatting, just the sizing is fine, or like the sizing you should change. So make it Calibri. Oops, I opened up. I don't want to. Labels for GMO, good. Like this is a simple tagline. That's a fine tagline. The sourcing is fine, I guess. Like usually you want to use the site generator, like I've shown in the like this is what you want. Kind of author, date it was published, title of the article, you know, where the source of the article, and then the link. That's kind of what you want. The site is the only like criticism I have about this. Like this is good. Like you should always highlight the stuff that genetic engineering is far more precise and in most cases is likely to produce an unexpected result. You know, they are not like sometimes like, you know, they are not good. Like you just want to kind of like tagline the really important stuff. But beyond this, just add copy paste more from your article, like, and then shrink that type of stuff that you don't want to read, and then kind of get good flow with the stuff you do want to read, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, thank you.
highlight the stuff like the best flow you can get is when you take two completely different sentences from a card, you cut half of one, you cut half of the other, and it makes like a perfect point. That's good flow. Like that's what you want to flow into it, like around. Like you don't want to read off the entire card, but you just want to have like good flow where your argument makes sense and what you're saying also makes sense. Like you can get through your points much quicker if that, yeah, if that's okay, there's no attachments here. Madhu, is it fine? Oh, I think this is it's I don't think there's a Madhu here. I believe someone told me this was their mom's account or something. Was Yuvika one of the people? Okay. Yeah. Yuvika, is Yuvika here?
I think the mother person was like, Shravani.
Oh, Shravani, okay. I don't think Shravani's here.
She's
She
not here though. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, we won't go over that one. We'll go over this one. This one seems to have some okay. So I had a reason for one. I'll respond to this later. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of, you just want to have your sources. There's a couple of things missing here. You just want to have a source, you want to have the title. You want definitely want to have the topic when you're making a case and cards. You want to copy paste an entire article. Like you don't want it just to be like points like this. Although, I mean, you like that's what you want to convey through your cards. Like, so consumers have the right to know like about, you know, sorry, should have the right to know about what they are eating, right? That's a good tagline right there, right? Should combine all your information from the article and kind of support that tagline. So that's 1 point or 1 card. I'll respond to this later, but I think beyond that, I think I went over all the cards. Yeah, basically everything. I'll go into depth about like all like I'll give you guys actual like written feedback because I'm just trying to save time at the end of class. But I'm just gonna give you guys written feedback, like, you know, what you can improve, and then I'll make a document on, I believe I can do it on flowing and just the general format of cutting a card. Is that cool? And I also post an example. So please look at the example. Like the example will give you a really, really, really good idea of what a good case should look like especially when it comes to flow, if that makes sense. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming everyone here has joined the Google Classroom. Has anyone not joined the Google Classroom yet?
Everyone has, I think.
Okay, everyone has. So I only had 12 people submit their homework, and there were like 21 people in this Zoom meeting today. So I just want to make sure that like everyone like takes their time and does the homework and submits the homework. So you know, it's a learning experience, and this will like help you a lot. Like I'm assuming most of you guys are in a middle school or elementary school, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so like debate is one of like the most valuable like extracurriculars, like robotics and debate are one of the most valuable extracurriculars when it comes to high school. So like, you know, if you want to go in like down kind of like the literary path, English path, you definitely have to do debate. And if you want to like, you know, do STEM, I guess you want to do robotics. So like generally to that type of thing, like debate helps you like in every aspect, and it's debate's its own community in high school. So you should definitely like join debate, have fun in debate, and that's the main reason why we started this class. So make sure you have fun doing these assignments, and you know, just make sure you turn them in somewhat of a timely manner, because you know, the quicker you turn them in and the better like you improve, the more feedback I can give and make you a better debater and like just a better researcher specifically. So I just like advise everyone to take a look at the assignment I'll post and have a fun time doing it. I don't have anything else, so if there are any questions, I can answer them, and if not, we can wrap up class. Yeah,
I
I'll
have
post
a-
everything. I'll post two things to answer Nitya's question. I'll post like, I guess, how to flow, although I can't give a visual representation. I did post a YouTube video, so just look through the Google Classroom and you'll find a YouTube video link, so watch that. And I'll also create just like a formatting guidelines for cutting cards and blocks, if that makes sense. That's what I'll post. And then I'll post the assignment. If
Do
anyone
you
doesn't,
know what
I have a
class?
question.
oh yeah, Mihika, go ahead. Was it Mihika?
Do you know what class the flowing topic was?
I think I
discussed
posted it on the regular
It was
class.
like the second or third class.
If you just go down, I posted the intro to debate slides, intro to researching and flowing. It's June 28th. It was the second week. It was like
Okay,
second
thank you.
class. Yep.
I have
if
a
you-
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, in the Google Classroom, it shows that you posted like an affirmative card
Yes.
paste. Like,
Do you want me
so
to just
is
post it
that
again?
no, I have it open, but I'm just confused what that is supposed to be for exactly. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Oh, I just put that there as an example because I believe someone asked for like Ishan or Yashmit. I think I'm not too sure, but someone just asked for an example.
Oh, okay. And for my card, is that all the comments you have?
I can give more comments if you like.
I mean, I was just wondering because you said you went over it, right? And I wasn't
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's all the comments I gave. But I think for everyone here, it just their cards just become a formatting thing where it's like you kind of have the content, but either you're highlighting too much, you're not really conveying your point, you're not creating a good point. But that just comes with practice. Like you need to have good formatting and like
Yeah.
kind of like practice in creating good points. Like, and that's just what I'm giving feedback on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. If there are no other questions, I can go ahead and end the meeting. If you guys are all done.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
All right.
you.
All
You
right.
on
See you
Saturday.
guys
Thank you. Bye.
Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye.